So you guys can go ahead and get your colors. Think about what colors you're going to be using. I'm going to be using black and white for my background with a little bit of blue. There we are. All right. So welcome. I'm Ronita. I'm a Purposeful Point, and I teach painting in person and online. And today we're painting the winter tulips. And let's start with my surface. I'm using this. I think this is like a pad. It says acrylic pad, meaning it just holds acrylic better because acrylic is a water base. So this is, I believe, it's like 9x12. It's a 9x12 pad. Yes, 9x12. That's what my surface is. You're welcome to use whatever works best for you. If it's a canvas board, just whatever you have that works for you. Also, I am using this is a 1/2 inch brush. I do have a pointer brush in case I need that. I can't really tell you the sizes because first of all, they're faded off the paintbrush, and then all the brushes are different, so their sizes vary. And I just have various brushes that depending on how I feel. Cup of water for rinsing my brushes in between. Also a paper towel. I like to have a paper towel handy. So after I rinse my colors out of my brush, I like to touch my brush to my paper towel to get rid of any excess water. I don't want to dry it off. I just want to touch it for any loose water. Don't dry it off. We still want our brush to be nice and wet. Next, my paint. I am using acrylic paint. I get my paint at the craft store. Like you can get it it's called Deco. You can get it at Hobby Lobby. You can get it at Michael's, but really just use what works best for you. I just use craft paint. I don't use the tube paints. I like the fluidity of the craft paints. It kind of, so to get the effects that I want. And that's primarily what I like to use. So I'm grabbing my white. Like I said, I'm going to kind of blend my background with mostly white with a little bit of black and a little bit of blue in there. And I'm going to grab my largest paintbrush. I like to use my largest paintbrush for my background just to get it done quicker, get it covered quicker. And to get started, I would like to dip my brush in my water because I want my brush to be nice and wet. It helps to move the paint around on the canvas. All right, that's what my water is for. So I'm going to do that. And then, like I said, I like to touch it to my paper towel. Touch it to the paper towel to get rid of any excess water because I don't want the water to run down. I am on an easel, but me personally, I prefer to paint flat because it helps so I can kind of move it around to get into angles and such. But for you guys, of course, I have it on the easel. And you guys are welcome to come off mute to ask any questions or any discussions. But I do ask if you know you have a lot of background noise, I do ask if you would mute. Might not sound that great to you guys, but it's rough for the others. So I'm started out with just putting white on my surface. And with this paper, my paint dries really fast. So I need to work it. So I move a little bit quicker with the background. So there I'm starting with white. You can't see it. I'm going to touch my brush in my black paint just a little bit because I want to start blending that. Then you'll be able to see where I'm. So I like to blend mine on the, I say on canvas. I like to blend my paints rather than mix them on my tray. I love the effect and the look that I get by doing the blending on my surface. But with the background that we have on the tulips, that's perfect. It's a perfect kind of multicolor background. And I will like dip my brush a little bit because like I said, with working with paper, it kind of drinks my paint. So I have to wet it often. There's no right or wrong way to cover your background. Just get your background covered. That's what our goal is right now. Put my white on first. Then I dip a little bit in the black and come right on top with that white and start to blend it. I don't rinse my brush out because I want that blending. And like I said, there's no right or wrong. As I get it covered. Make sure you can see my bottom. And I'm adding just the same thing. I'm adding a little bit of blue in there because like I said, I wanted a little bit of a blue undertone as well. Now you don't have to add that. That's my background, what I wanted. Put a little bit over here. So once you get your background covered, you want to stop the swiping because we kind of want to let it dry a little bit. And welcome. So I did put the image that we're going to be working on. It's in the chat if you need to see that. Next month, I'll definitely have I'll have an image already painted up. So
Can you put it in the chat again for me?
depends on how my computer is acting. And there it is. Okay. So we're gonna paint right on top. And so that's why I was like, get your background covered and go ahead and stop the swiping. I mean, it's okay, but just to keep it from blending with the background. So I'm not sure why, and it just will not. But we are ready to paint our buds. Like I said, you choose your colors. I'm going to stick with the purple and the pinks that I have. Go ahead and add those to my tray. That's a little bit. And also my pink. Now I'm gonna use the same larger brush, but because I can work with the brush, I have pretty good control using the brush, the bigger brush. So, and like I said, say bigger, it's not huge, it's like a 1/2 inch brush, but I'm gonna suggest you use what's best for you. And I'm gonna start with the tulip up at the top. And my method, now I don't want, I'm going to angle my tulips, guys. I don't want my tulip to go straight up and down. I'm going to angle it a little bit. And so if you're painting flat, to angle it for yourself, maybe you can just tilt your angle, put your surface at an angle a little bit so you can get it so it's not completely straight up. Okay. So I'm going to make a C and then another C going the opposite way. That makes sense. So I got so that gives me the shape of my tulip. Fill that in. Okay. And it's not like a a C with less curve. Don't make it like a full C curve, just like a little more of a flat C. And I'm gonna put another one. You can see I angled it a little bit. So like I said, if it helps for you to angle so that your tulips are not straight, pointed straight up and down, angle your surface a little bit. I'm going to do the same thing again right next to it with another of a purple, my C, a forward C and a backward C. And this one's going to be slightly lower as far as placement than the first one. So C one way and then the C the other way. And then I'm going to fill it in. Okay. Now my surface, it's pretty mine is not very dark, but if you have a darker surface, then you know your buds might be a little bit darker, but we can work with that. Just, add a little bit of white if if that's happening for you. Okay. Now, I do have a little bit of blue on my palette from the blue that I kind of blended in from my background. So I want to start putting a little bit of shadow in my tulips. And when you think shadow, a lot of people think of maybe black, but I if I can avoid using black for my shadows, I will, because black tends to kind of dominate, kind of take over, and then make your painting a little bit darker. So for my shadowing, I like to use blue to give me a darker shade. But if you have a darker purple, that would be even better. If you have like two shades of purple, like the violet, and then a darker violet, darker purple. But I'm going to use blue for my shadow. And I'm going to put that shadow kind of in the middle of this first one. Okay, you guys see that? I put that blue in there, just a little bit, not a lot. And then I will take and dip my brush in my purple and then come on top of that to kind of blend it a little bit. Okay, so that I don't have just a nice dark blue line in there. Okay. All right. So I like that with the different shades, it gives the item, it gives it a little bit of dimension. And that's what I'm always shooting for. I like it. So I still have the little bit of blue in my brush. And now I'm just kind of going around. I didn't add any more blue. Whatever's in my brush is there. I'm just going around the sides of the bud. Okay. Now I kind of want to do the same thing for the other, but I made it darker in between, like these are petals here, and I just made it darker in between the two petals. Now here, my petal's going to be, it's not going to be in the center, it's going to be off a little bit. So again, I'm going to dip my brush in the purple, and just add some purple or violet. I'm going to add another, because I want my paint to be wet so that it'll blend. So I put the purple on there. Now I'm going to dip it in my blue again, and then bring it down. Like I said, it's a little bit off-centered, but you can see what I'm doing. Then I'll come on top, just blend it a little bit. Okay. I still have a little bit of blue, a little bit of purple in my brush. And I'm going to kind of go around the bud from the bottom. Okay. And those are my purples. Now, if you want to make it darker, if you're on a canvas and you're trying to make it darker, you'll have to let that paint dry first before you can kind of work with it that way. Okay. Now, I'm going to continue on, add a little bit of white to the edges of my brush. The same way that I added a little bit of blue in with my purple, I'm going to do the same thing with the color white. So again, I'm going to dip my brush in my purple, and where I want to paint the white, I'm going to add purple there, because I want to blend in some white there, and I want that to be wet to help it blend better. And I'm going to kind of go around the outsides of that blue in the center. Okay, so I'm dipping my brush in a little bit of white, just a little bit of white on the tip of my brush, and then come in there so that'll blend. You see that, how that lightened up? At least on one side it did. And guys, don't worry about if your buds are perfect or even shaped or anything like that, because this is abstract art, and that's not what we're going for. We're going for a little relaxation. So the same thing that I did for the purple, the bigger, I'm going to go and do the same thing for the second bud. I'm going to grab my purple or violet, and go where I'm going to be adding my white, kind of go area so that the paint is wet so that it'll blend when I add a little bit of white. Now I say a little bit of white. If you want more white, add more white. If you just want a little bit, just do the little bit. However it works for you. Next, I want to do my pink. Add those pink. I'm going to do the same thing we did with the purple, except it's going to be pink. Same thing I did before, a backwards and a forward C, just to get the shape. That's just, don't have to do the C's like I said them, but just to give you an idea of how I'm getting my shapes. And I'm only putting, I got 2 pink, 2 purple. If you want more, it's your painting. If you want less, it's your painting. And also, well, for my shadows, I could probably do the blue, but I'm just going to use the purple. For mine, I'm going to use the purple for my shadows. And it's going to be right there in the top. A lot of purple, isn't it? I'm going to do the same for the Do the same with the white. I am going to go down these buds are a little bit smaller. I'm going to go down a little bit on the sides of my brush. I'm going to put a little bit of pink where I want. I'm going to put my white so the paint is wet there. Dip it in my white. Then go on top of the pink. That didn't show up very bright. More white. Ready to switch over to green. I do have a darker green. You have a darker green. If not, green works. Now, I have my green on my tray. I'm going back to my bigger brush. So now we are going to be painting the leaves at the bottom. And I'll show you how I do those. Start at the bottom. I'm going to show you guys this real quick. Start at the bottom. I'm going to bring it up. But as I come up, like I have my paintbrush angled vertically. As I come up, I'm going to make it go flat. And then I'll go back up into vertical. You guys see how I did that? I'll do it again. Start down here, vertical. As I go up, I'm going to make my brush flat. And then back to vertical as I get closer to the buds. Okay, see how I did that? And that's how you make your tulip leaves. And you guys, I know you've seen tulips and you know that's exactly how their leaves look. We're close to it. We're doing it. We're abstract. This group is super serious. I've been doing good. I haven't cracked any jokes. That was my first one. All right. And then I'm going to go ahead and give it a stem. Okay. Next one. The same technique. It's vertical. So I go up, it's going to get flat. Then I go vertical again. Just a twist of the brush. I'm just twisting the brush. And if you don't want to do that, what I did, just bring it straight up. It's fine. That was just a little trick that I learned. And so now I'm just going through adding more leaves from the bottom. Just having fun with the leaves, but you don't have to have as many as I do. So, and then also remember to add the stems. I'm just going to start at the flower itself and just come down into my. Okay, so like I talked about having different shades of the color gives it some dimension. I want to do the same with the leaves as well. And I'm going to try to use blue to see if that'll be darker. So I'm gonna go up like just one side of each leaf. And I'm hoping that gives it some variations. Okay. And I'm still using the larger brush. I have it turned. Yeah. Oh, what was that? You are the host now. What? AI is it's doing something with it. I don't know if you guys can still see me. My screen is not working either. Close. The host has spotlighted your video for everyone. Yes. Yes, can see you. Okay. I don't know what happened. It took over and the AI decided something different than what I wanted. I don't even have the AI assist on. I don't even know how to use the AI assist. But there, like I said, I wanted each. Oh, wow, even my picture looks different. Hmm, okay. Now I want to do a little bit of I'm really ready to add my white. In the picture, it's called the winter tulips because there's frost, a little bit of white on the tips. And that's why I'm ready to add that. So the green, we'll add some to the petals as well. But right now, we'll let those dry and move over to the tulips. So I'm ready to go back to my white. And I'm just going to dip. This is one of those brushes. This brush is actually, I'm sure it says Fine Touch. This is the one. These are some brushes that I got from Hobby Lobby. Okay. I'm going to dip it in my white. And because it's like it's kind of a frost. And so that's what I'm going to just kind of, I'll show you what I'm going to do. Kind of like dab the paint around to the tip to give it that frosty look. Does that make sense? I don't know if you guys can see it. A little frosty here. Now I'm using the tip of my brush. You can also use a sponge to do that as well. I had some sponge pieces that I had cut out, but I don't have any handy. Oh, here it is. There's one. Just kind of dabbing some white around the tips to give it that frosty look that's in the image that we're painting. And then it's kind of optional. If you painted your tulips and you're digging them as is, go for it. But I'm gonna kind of dab some paint on it to give it that, you can use the tip of your brush. Or like I said, I had a little piece of sponge and I got these sponges at the Dollar Tree and I just cut them up into the sizes small enough so I can kind of dab the paint where I wanted it. So it's easier to handle it because I cut them up to be really small. Well, cut them up into little pieces. So, and again, it was a pack of them, maybe like 3 or 4 in a pack for $1. Or I bought these back when the store was $1, the dollar store. Now it's $1.75 store. Well, it was yesterday. I went in $1.75. Hurt my feelings. So I'm just dabbing a little bit of white at the tips of the buds to give it that frosty look. And I'm also going to put some on the tips of my leaves. Right. So Again, this is as abstract. Of course, we're not going to have very many tulips in the winter with the frost on it, but it's fun putting on it, putting the frost. Wow. Just heard a big, huge sound of, I hope it's thunder. I'm going to pray that it was thunder. After, I don't know if you guys, I'm in Louisville. We just recently had a big tragic issue, and I just heard a really loud, just, it is raining, so I'm going to say it's the thunder. Just leave it at that. All right, so I am adding my white, dabbing it on the tips of I don't know about you, but I'm really digging my my tulips. This is fun. You dabbing the paint on with the sponge. I always like the using something different to get my effects. So guys, tell me if you use the sponge or if you use the brush, or did you add did you add the frost on yours or not?
I haven't used the frost on mine, but I'm having an issue making um, my tulip lips.
The lips, the part, the buds.
Yes.
Okay. Did you try the forward C and a backward C? Just
Oh yeah, I got that part okay.
okay, okay,
Doing that center bit isn't working for me,
okay, okay.
but I'm working on it.
Oh, and I did have a comment. Small comment. Oh, she says, Mona says she's in Louisville as well. Yeah.
Purple.
So really, that's pretty much my finished product.